Yo, no maniacs. Welcome to the show this afternoon. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time, in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the Superback Sean Sierra.
Yeah.
Got my other trustees up here, the Canuck coming in live from Canada, and my guy, the Bishop. And we'll just call him that from now on. Everybody call him the Bishop, please. So do that in the chat for us, man. And while you're doing that, guys, let's do a little checking in. Let's tap in, man. Let's see where everybody's from. We're going to start doing that more on a regular basis so we can have an idea of who's who and where you're from, man. I think that's just really good, man, to know where people are coming in from. It's surprising all the time when I see some of the areas that people are watching the show from. It's absolutely amazing to see some of the places that we're reaching. And so I appreciate you guys, man. And again, thank you for watching the show. And we have a very special guest here today, man. People have worn me down to the nub about this guy, man. And I like his content as well. I really enjoy some of the things that he does on his channel. Man, really glad to have Adam Mason here with us. And we're going to bring him on in just a second. But let's give some pleasantries around, man. Let's tap in with the viewers right quick, kids.
Yes. Holy smokes. We got a show for you guys today. No Maniacs, thanks for representing in droves. The chat's starting to pop off and get heavy and awesome. Roll call. Let us know where you're at and where these Bears fans are at. We're gonna go through some awesome stuff here today, and we've got an awesome guest waiting in the wings in the back. In the green room. He's snacking on a lobster and steak back there, so we'll give him a minute to chow down before we bring him in. My guy, the Bishop. What are you saying, Bishop?
Hey, what's going on there? No maniacs and sports zoners. How y'all doing today? We're gonna talk some Bears football. It's so good to be in the house today. My guys on the panel, what's going on, fellas? Are y'all ready to chop it up? Superback, what you got to say, brother?
Sports owners and no maniacs unite. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for tuning in. I'm excited to talk to Bears football today. It's going to be a good show. Great guest. So it's going to be fun. A fun time coming at you from the South Burbs, man. Let me just tell you. Let me give you a quick story. It hurt my soul that when I had to renew my driver's license, and for the first time,
I thought you were going to say when I showed up with donuts.
For the first time in 50 years, I did not have a Chicago address. I was hurt. It took me a minute, but I got over it. That's all right. Coming here from the South Burbs, baby.
I bet
let's
you
get
did.
it. Let's bear down.
All right, man. Hey, let's not.
Okay, I'll be fine.
Let's not keep our guests waiting any longer. So we're gonna bring on Adam right quick, and let me see here. Put him on stage. Adam, how you doing, my man? Glad to have you on the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, and I really appreciate being here. It's really exciting to be on your show.
Hey, it's our pleasure, man. Glad to have you on, man. So the thumbnail goes like Caleb. He absolutely captured the imagination of the Bears fan base yesterday with his pro day, and we went down. I went down the line of what could we do with the number 9 pick, because it's apparently we're going to probably draft him, probably 99% sure about that, and what do we do at the number 9 spot with a limited amount of draft capital? We got 4 left after Caleb, and if they want to capitalize, there may be some scenarios that we could talk about as to what they can do at 9. So let's just start there.
Yeah, there's still plenty of options open for the Bears. Now, assuming we go Caleb at 1, which, like you said, 99% we're doing that. The obviously, even if all the fans haven't come around yet, the Bears brass are enamored with him. They were all there in his pro day. I mean, there was tons of support, and I've never seen a player show up to a pro day before. And maybe it's happened, but I don't remember seeing that. So Keenan Allen showing up there was just, to me, kind of like, made me wonder, at least, have they said something to Keenan? And of course, we know Keenan lives there, and he's probably in the process of getting things switched over. And so it was easy, and he's known Caleb. So that was interesting. But at 9, there's lots of options, and this team is not filled out yet. And that's the biggest reason I think fans might have a little frustration, is because the draft capital is low now. But I think a lot of fans need to realize, having 1 and 9, our draft capital is not low. No other team is in such an exciting point as we are, that we are probably walking out of here with 2 blue chip guys. Whereas other teams that are picking 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds pan out rarely. They don't really come to be your top guys. And even then, 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds, they don't always work out either. And it's developmental. But 2 top 10 guys, that should be a home run right off the bat. As far as what I think we'll do, I think there's a couple players there that if they're there, we absolutely snag them no matter what. And the way things are shaking out, they could end up there. And those are players like, I don't think offensive tackle is necessarily a need for us with Braxton. And you guys have probably seen, we already have a top 30 visit scheduled with Kieran. I can't say his last name, the guy from Yale.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would see him somewhere around 75. I can see that being something that the Bears are kind of looking towards, maybe a tackle at 75. But if Joe Alt's there at 9, how do you pass up? Because he is special. Like he's a really solid impact day one improvement from Braxton Jones. And while Braxton isn't bad, you want to have those top 10 type of tackles to take you to the playoffs. So really, to me, the biggest lacking needs on this team are quarterback, number 1. That's become our biggest lacking need now, obviously. And that should be filled with the first pick. And then X receiver. And a lot of people don't think we have a need at receiver because we have Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, which are clearly 2 top. I mean, they're wide receiver 1s, both of them. But we don't have an X receiver. And after those 2, the depth is really not there. And they're both on, as of right now, expiring contracts, one within this year and one within next year. So we really got to start learning to build, not just from the trenches, which we're doing, but build our wide receiver room to be able to be sustainable long-term. And so I'm really hoping Rome Odunze's there at 9. I don't see it happening, but if he is, I want to snag him at 9 for sure.
Well, and you guys let me know in the chat, man, because let me know how you feel about Mr. Mason doing a mock and kind of illustrating for you guys what he might do at the 9 and moving down. Just give me a thumbs up and thumbs up or thumbs down if you want to see it, because he agreed that he illustrate that for you guys. But hey, man, as far as tackles go, man, I've watched them. I probably watched that group just as hard as I did the receiving group, which I think are the top 2 position groups in the draft. In my opinion, it's 2 position groups in the draft by far, in my opinion. And the tackle that I like, and when I bring up this, they get kind of mad at me in the chat but they don't realize that Darnell Wright was a starter when he came into Tennessee at left tackle and performed well. You know, illustration of that, just go watch the Alabama game in 2021. It's a natural position for him. The draft is so, to me, right tackle heavy. It would do them good to maybe consider. I don't know if they actually would, flipping him to the left side and maybe getting one of these right tackles. Like I think Talise Fuaga, I think he can play any side, left or right, but I've never seen feet like that for a guy that big. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed with him. I don't know how much work you did on him, but wow, I think that dude's going to be a special talent.
Yeah, I can see Talise Fuaga being special. I just think Joe Alt is up here and every other tackle's not quite there. And with us not having that need, I really see it. Now, a lot of I shouldn't say everyone, but just because there's many. There's such a top tier wide receiver class this year, and we have such a need for it. We focused on those top 3, and people would be surprised if I tell you I have Brian Thomas in mind ahead of Malik Neighbors. And I don't know if other teams have that too, but Brian Thomas is special. If you watch his tape, and I go into the stats and nerdy analytics thing, that's kind of why I've kind of gotten a little bit of a reputation with that stuff. But Jaden Daniels had one of the highest passer ratings in all of college football. He had a very special year. Everyone knows that. He was a Heisman for a reason. And you look at Malik Neighbors, and his passer rating when targeted was right in line with Jaden Daniels. But Brian Thomas was actually 10 points higher. And to have someone at 152 passer rating when targeted is unique, and it's crazy. It doesn't happen that often. It's the highest that I've seen, and I haven't looked at everyone, but highest that I've seen in college football. But what separates him is his separation. He separates better than anybody in the game, even better than Marvin Harrison Jr., in my opinion. I think Marvin Harrison Jr.'s moves are better, which will translate better to the NFL level. But Brian Thomas running a 4.33, 4.34, if everyone else is gone at 9, I can see Ryan Poles doing a Darnell Wright from last year, where everyone said that there are not many that I didn't see that said Darnell was being drafted too high, but he likes Brian Thomas. Take him at 9. If not, I'd love a trade back. If all those other guys are gone, trade back to 13, 14 before the Colts, because the Colts are going to take wide receiver. So trade back 13, 14, get an extra second rounder, and take Brian Thomas, because he's right there with. I mean, to me, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. 1A, Romo Dunze 1B, and Brian Thomas right behind them. And Malik Neighbors right there too, because he route runs too, but he's just not an X receiver like we need. But I don't see us taking a different tackle if it's not Joe Alt at 9. I see that happening in the 3rd round. That's just my opinion. This is the way I've seen it and viewed it. He could end up taking Fuaga. He could end up taking Olu Fashanu. He could take one of those guys at 9, and I would be the one that was wrong again. But to me, I see that being with – he made the comment at the Combine that this is a deep tackle class. Like, he specifically made that comment at the Combine, which was offering information. Like, it was just being offered up. And to me, that meant that he's probably going to go tackle in the 3rd or 4th round.
Well, I man, you are so. People kept telling me, man, Adam Mason thinks like you know, man. I thought the world of Brian Thomas when I seen that film. I mean, the world of him. And I remember talking to our producer, C Sharp, privately, and we were talking about. We did a receiver class, the top 10 receivers, and when we got to him and discussing him, I was like, man, that might be the steal of the draft. Actually, man, I think this cat is he's got some special qualities about him. I know, Malik gets all the attention and Marvin Harrison gets all the attention and Odunze. But I think that is absolutely the steal of the especially the receiver class. I mean, I think his upside is tremendous. That a guy that size running like that is ridiculous. Yeah. And so I do agree with you on that, man. But let me let my guys in, man, because I know Keds right off the top has a few things he wants to speak to you about or ask you about. So we'll let him go.
Yeah. So Adam, I was hyped when a couple of our guys, our No Maniacs were like, you know what, you guys should bring Adam Mason on the show. I was like, you know what, I've been watching Adam. Let's bring him on. Let's do what we can to bring the man on. And then you skipped over Malik Neighbors. So now I don't know what I was talking about.
Well, I'm not saying Malik is scrub. He's just I see us needing the X receiver. That's the biggest reason.
And when you clarified that, I agree with you. Like when you clarified the X specifically, I agree. I like Brian Thomas Jr. quite a bit too. There's 3 receivers, and I'm adding one from last year that I've scouted over the last 2 years. That separation was just insanity to watch on film, and Neighbors is one. The other one is Tank Dell from last year. His ability to separate just blew me away last year. And the third guy is Xavier Worthy. Those 3 guys just you don't see DBs around when the ball's coming down in a situation where they could just reach out an arm and there's still not a human being anywhere near them. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, Brian Thomas has a lot of that too. So I got to agree with you. And then we get to see him at the actual combine, and he tears up some good old speed numbers. We get to see that he's not a joke. He's a real dude out there when it comes to that speed piece too. So I wouldn't mind if we get him. I'm actually hoping that we do. I kind of have him over Odunze for the simple reason because I feel like Odunze and Neighbors are going to be gone by the time we get to 9. And it's not really a talent thing or anything else. It's just I don't think we're gonna have access to Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, or Odunze. So who's next up to bat? I really like the guy who's next up to bat. So I'm with you. I think the idea, the best case scenario, is to trade back to a 13 or a 14, get a second round pick, grab yourself a Brian Thomas Jr., and then hopefully get something else by way of pass rush maybe in the second round. But that's me. Bishop, what are you saying, bro?
Well, first, Adam, thank you for joining us today, man. I've been following you as well, and it's a pleasure to have you on the panel today. And also, I want to thank you for identifying that we need an X receiver because I've mentioned it on some previous
Important.
shows, and I've gotten a little pushback from my fellow panel brothers here. But with that being said,
That was probably
um,
me.
yes, it was you. Um, but in all honesty, Brian Thomas Jr. is high on my list as well. I would love for us to be able to take that ninth pick trade back and get him then. More importantly, I listened to what people say, and I caught during the interview that they did with Caleb yesterday how he has mentioned oftentimes he likes to be able to get the ball out quick and get it to his ex receiver. So I found that to be quite interesting, knowing that we need an ex receiver as well. So thank you for identifying that and keeping my back on that one because, like I said before, my man Keds and I we go back and forth on that. But now that we have identified that, we can move on and let the superback chime in.
Adam, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. Um, I think Brian, I like Thomas because here's the thing. It's just maybe it's a psychological thing, but he knows how to be a number two. You know what I mean? He's already had, and I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. All right. I mean, hell, Alshon Jeffrey was a Pro Bowl number two receiver. All right. And
Yeah, he was.
the thing about it is, he's already played with Malik Neighbors. Malik has gotten most of the accolades and the awards, and not saying that Thomas didn't, he just didn't get as much as Malik. And I think it would be a good fit for him. I do agree with some of my guys. If we can trade back from that 9 position, and like you said, maybe get another second rounder and 12 or 13, and then pick him up, man, that'd be great. That'd be really, really good. And, one of the things that I like is I was saying, we get a stud receiver, give me your thoughts on moving DJ to the slot and getting him in motion and having him, trying to cover him, have defenses try to cover him with him in motion coming off the line. It's bad enough when he's static and he's stationary. It's going to be a real son of a gun if he's in motion and you got to try and stop him.
Yeah, the nice thing is with all those guys, Keenan plays a ton out of the slot too. I see Keenan starting the season as the slot and
he
DJ
does his
out.
best work out of the slot, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. But DJ last year, the couple games where he did get pushed into the slot, he changed the whole dynamic of the team with that. You saw the team absolutely play differently with that. So the big thing is we just need more options. We just and look at what we have with Shane Waldron's 12 personnel, just adding Gerald Everett too. It's going to be so fun to watch Bears football from an offensive side for once. I don't remember, and I'm in my 40s, I don't remember ever watching a team that has this much stacked, at least at the top of it. We aren't deep at wide receiver and tight end, but having those two at tight end, Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett, and then having, if nothing else, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, even if we don't add another wide receiver, this year will be fun. It'll be interesting to see how we do extensions and what happens, but I've never seen the options that we can have with Shane Waldron calling his 12 personnel sets and having the type of room that we have already the changes we've made. We should be a threat for sure.
I think we have to go back to literally 99 and 2000 for the Rams teams. And you mean they're Ricky Ricky Prohl is the last one, but you had Oz Hakeem, Ricky Prohl, you had Torrey Holt, and you had the Isaac Bruce, and along with Marshall Faulk. I mean, that's a hell of a squad. And I think once we get a receiver, I mean, and I'm not putting anyone in those categories yet. I mean, Keenan Allen's great, but I guess DJ Moore too. But we're at that limit where we got 4. I mean, and then you could even throw Cole Kmet in there as a top 10 tight end. We got literally five studs at all skill positions. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So the big thing, and I'll pick your guys' brain. I know I'm on your show, but I'm going to pick your brain because I just hear it so much as I'm going through it. So many people see edge as a need, and they fill that number 9 slot with an edge. But I don't think a lot of people have done the deep dive, and I've done this a couple times on my channel. I've shown it with the Tez effect. DeMarcus Walker is not a scrub. He's not a starter. Like he's not your big power force hitter. And his stats showed that when Tez wasn't here. He wasn't the lead guy. But when Tez came over, DeMarcus Walker's stats were among the best at starters on the other side of Tez. He has 8 sack hits or hurries. It's a metric that I use, so I'll use a better terminology for that. He has a sack hit or hurry on once every 8 plays, which is among the best at defensive end. So while I see that we need to improve defensive end long term, it's not a deep need that we have this year, but so many people are stuck on taking edge at 9. And now it's all going to come down to Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham and how they see a guy. And maybe they see a guy that's a Brian Burns or a Montez Sweat, and they say, we can't pass up on him. And that's a whole different story. Best player available. But as far as our pure needs, I don't see it like other fans are seeing it, where they see we have to take edge at 9 because Montez Sweat so here's another one. DeMarcus Walker, before Tez got here, was missing 30% of his tackles, which is awful, god awful. When Tez got here, that number dropped down to less than 10%, and which is among the best at defensive end. So Tez creates such an impact on that other side that DeMarcus Walker then can play his role better, collapse the pocket from his side, and things just become so much cleaner for everybody, which is why Gervon Dexter played so much better at the second half of the year too. So what are your guys' thoughts on 9 with defensive end? Because I'm just not seeing it like other people are proposing out there. I'm not seeing us taking an edge at 9. I just don't see that happening.
I'll tell you right now, Chris is somewhere rolling over in his grave, our producer in the back.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead yet.
He is dead set on getting to the edge, and I see it the same way as Adam. I said that for months, man. I don't see that being an immediate need, and I don't think the edge class is anywhere near as talented as some of these other top positions, I think. And I'm not saying that they don't have talented edges there. They do. What I'm saying is, as in a comparison to some of the other needs on the team, I don't see that being an immediate something that we needed to do. I think other positions like the X receiver, the offensive lineman, I think to me that jumps ahead of the edge because you can get down there a little bit later on and find some decent guys. And plus what he just explained about the Montez Walker effect, Montez Sweat's effect on
him too.
Look, Chris and me basically going to have the same take on this. So since you pulled yourself in, C Sharp, you want to go?
Well, you know where I'm at it. Team building 101, inside out. Walker is a sufficient player, and I know the numbers you just mentioned, Adam, support that. It's just that in this game, we have injuries, and we want to be able to create pressure in waves. Now, I know you guys are speaking about wide receivers, and my other take is, premium wide receivers don't win you championships. Okay, so good defensive lines do, good offensive lines do. And I'm just really of the thinking, especially as deep as the wide receiver class is, I love Brian Thomas. I think Brian Thomas is the second best receiver in this draft. And I think he's the most dangerous receiver in this draft. He's just not as refined as Marvin Harrison Jr. But, I'm all in on at 9. If nothing else happens, I actually don't know if Jared Verse will even be there. But, Latu and Jared Verse are the guys. Latu, of course, has some medical concerns, even though his medicals have shown up to be good. I just look at Jared Verse and I just see almost a Khalil Mack type of player. And at 9, to me, you just don't pass that guy up. Go ahead. I know you're going to cut me off. I'm going back to my room now. Bye-bye.
You get the virtue signaling in your behind off, man. How about we get this thing cooked up for let's get this thing cooked up for. Let's see what Adam actually does, man, for the viewers, man. Let's get him ready to go ahead.
With what you just said, though, that's where I say we would take an edge at 9. And this all everything's going to come down to how these guys analyze it. Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham and company. If there's someone there at 9, if they truly see Latu and Jared Verse as, that next edge that's going to be the home run, guy that you can't miss on, they'll take it. I mean, they're going to take the best player available if that person in their mind and their analysis, if they've scouted this and they see it that way, they will take a guy that they think is absolutely going to be a superstar in this league.
Adam, who would you think that guy is if it were to be one that you circle?
As far as which position, you talking about edge?
In edge, yeah.
Right now, I think it's Latu, and I'm not as worried about the medicals with everything that I've seen come out on that. I mean, those types of injuries get healed up, and he played extremely high last year. I was high on Latu. I made that. In fact, one of my first videos I made was on him, and another one on Darius Robinson. He and Jared Verse would be 1 and 2 to me. A lot of people are really high on Dallas Turner, and I can see why. But I really like Latu the most. He's my favorite edge in this class.
I don't disagree with you, Adam. Especially from a production standpoint. I mean, Latu has shown, that he's a special player, and so I would not be disappointed if they took Latu. Actually, Latu was my number 1 edge for a lot of the year, but Verse picked his play up so much the second half of the season. The more I look at the guy, the more I like him. So I wouldn't be disappointed with either one of those picks. Dallas Turner, some of those other guys. I mean, they're good players. I think they're a level below the first 2 that we mentioned.
Hey, really quickly, Adam. I don't know how much Buffalo Bills homework on their defense that you've done, and the kind of dynamic Eric Washington could be bringing to the table, and the types of players that he likes along his front line. I don't know how much work you've done on that, but I could see him having a hand in the guy that they brought. Because like the guy, what's his name, Jacob Martin.
Mm-hmm.
That normally it doesn't look like a guy that under Eberflus's traits would be the guy that they'd be looking for, because he's just not big enough across the front. But Eric Washington's fronts are so hybrid, and they have different variations of what a 4-3 should look like, and I love it. But he has different types of players with different traits to him. If I don't know if you considered some of these guys that probably I wouldn't have considered Dallas Turner as an option for us, minus Eric Washington, but I definitely see him as one, an option right now because of Eric Washington.
Jake Martin is fascinating to me, guys. I want to see what they're going to do with him, because he's very much a Yannick Ngakoue type of player, which leads me to think there was big influence there from Eberflus bringing in Jake Martin. But he did convert from that outside linebacker to defensive end last year, and his numbers at defensive end were just per snap. I mean, he's not a starter, but per snap, I mean, it was pretty elite. But I haven't watched his tape yet, so I want to, from a stats point, from an analytical side, I'm intrigued. But I don't see him being more than obviously our defensive end 3 or 4, probably 4 at this point. But Dominique Robinson's got to go. So if we pick up an edge, I completely understand Robinson being on the chopping block 100%. But Jake Martin's fascinating to me. There's a lot of players I'm going to watch when OTAs and obviously preseason happens. And Jake Martin's one of those guys I'm going to want to watch right off the bat and see what kind of impact he has, because he is smaller bodied like Yanni, 242, I think was his weight. But how his moves and how he gets to the ball, and he's going to be in a prove it mode. It's going to be interesting to see what he does.
Well, before you get cooking here, Adam, they are demanding to do these super chats, and we appreciate the contributions. So we will honor that real quick and let kids take over.
Nomad, before you guys get started, you guys want to do a full 7 rounds or just an abbreviated draft?
I'll let Adam call that.
Just do an abbreviated one. 3
rounds good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, do the supers then.
Fine. Hey, No Maniacs, love you guys. Thanks for sending in and supporting. Our guy DG, Daryl Gibson, original No Maniac. Here's what he's asking. Polls cannot risk drafting a left tackle at 9. Period. If that rookie gets injured, big problem. And if the rookie gets injured, we still have a swing, right? We still got Braxton as swing. We still got Larry Borum as swing. Probably not the end of the world in that scenario, to be honest with you. But if we're talking about alt, very specifically, sort of as Adam has laid out, or even Olufushana, which is very unlikely to happen. But if it does happen, if those two guys were there, as much as I personally don't want a left tackle, I really wouldn't blame him for taking him.
Hey, to be honest with you, Daryl, and thank you for the contribution, bro. If Keenan Allen wasn't 33, about to be 33 years old, I would say, I'd be on 100% with you on that. I think this tackle class is that strong, and I do think not taking one is a big risk. But Keenan Allen is a 33-year-old receiver, so I'll just say that in consideration to what you said. But go ahead. If anybody else wants to touch that, feel free. All right. Let's go. Let's move on to the next one.
All right. Our guy FFG Style. $2 from FFG. Thanks for representing and supporting as per normal. Do you see double trade down to get Jaden and Thomas?
Let's let Adam answer that.
Adam, what do you think, dog? What do you think?
So on my channel, I've made a couple videos of Jaden Daniels because here's the primary reason, guys, and I've always said this. My channel was not a Justin Fields channel. My channel is I want to explore everything. I don't want to be stuck in lemming mode where you're just following what the media says, following what everyone says, and just having to go with it because they're saying it. Now, I don't think my analysis of Justin Fields was wrong. He is an ascending player who's improving every year. I showed that through the stats and analysis that got showed on NBC Chicago. He's improving, and I hope he does that in Pittsburgh. He's gone, so that's past this. Well, the next thing was I made a video on Jaden Daniels because he's very similar. Every single year in college, he's improved and he's progressed and he's showing those things I like to see. And I really, really like the things out of Jaden Daniels I'm seeing. I really am impressed with him. I don't see a scenario at this point with where we are that we trade back and take Jaden Daniels unless Washington is okay. So two things have to happen. The Bears have to say, okay, I really like what I see in Jaden Daniels. This is a 2020 type of draft where we've got Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, and either one are going to be good for our team, and we like it. We like both of these guys. And then Washington has to see it differently. And Washington has to say, nope, it's Caleb Williams, nothing else. No one else will do. They've got to be willing to come up on draft day and give us this year's first, next year's first, 2026's first, couple of picks this year, a second, a third. It's not going to happen, guys. It's just not going to happen. That's the only way we're going to let go of Caleb Williams. And if that happens, I would be okay with Jaden Daniels. I would be okay with any rookie that this brass, that Ryan Poles deems as good enough to take us into the season and feels like they can develop into the next superstar. But I don't see a scenario where that's happening at this point. I don't see us not taking Caleb. That's why I say I'm 90%. I want to be sold on it. I want to still do the dives. I want to watch the pro day next Wednesday with Jaden Daniels. I want to watch everything that takes place. But at this point, the pro day for LSU, I'm going to be more interested in watching Brian Thomas than I am Jaden Daniels. So, and that's just where I am. I really think we're taking Caleb. Stacking those two up would be kind of fun. Jaden Daniels at 2 with the Hall and Brian Thomas at 9 or 13. That would be fun to see it happen. I don't think it's likely at this point.
How far back do you think we'd be able to trade to get Jaden Daniels? Because Drake May's still up there. Because if you take that double dip, you go 1 or 2 to Washington. Tons of people are coming up to going to offer for that number 2 spot, that number 2 pick. How far back do you, if that happens, is it only 5 or 6?
I don't think you risk it. If you're sold on one of those 2 guys, you don't risk coming out of 2. Somebody else could take Jaden Daniels ahead of you. If you're seeing it that way, other teams are going to see it the same way. So if you're trading back, it's a one-time trade back. Now, if you really don't care who the quarterback is and you're trying to build the rest of the team, which is not the direction they're going, or else they wouldn't have traded Justin Fields, then you can trade back as far as you want. But if we trade back and that's the decision is we're sold that there's 1A and 1B, you don't risk going back farther than 2 and still wanting your 1A and 1B because somebody else could easily come up and take Jaden Daniels at that point.
Mrs. O'Leary's cow will kick over the lantern again if they don't take one of those 2.
How about
we'll be on fire.
You got any more supers, kid?
I do, and I'm completely lost in left field with who Mrs. O'Leary is and what's up with the cow. But in any event,
that's right.
World. So this is a U.S. thing. Sorry,
Chicago thing.
It's a
Chicago thing.
Okay,
you guys can explain that.
We'll tell you after the show.
All I know is she probably cooks mutton or something, but we'll get into that later.
Seinfeld reference, nice.
She got a Seinfeld. All right, I love Seinfeld, so we'll figure this out. King Book of World, $2 super chat. I like the direction. Here we go. I like the direction of the team, sustained success. And you know what? I have to agree, and I'm going to touch on a little bit of what Adam was just saying. Honestly, Adam, you sounded just like me yesterday with the with the exception of a bad Godfather impression included. But I've run a couple of mocks over the time, and I was able to get myself Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. in a few of those. But those were many moons ago. Things have changed, and I just don't see anything like that happening at this point. It would take a king's ransom to make them really get off this whole Caleb Williams thing. So I think that's who we're zeroing in on as well.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and let Adam start cooking. But before we do that, Chris, if you don't mind, a quick station ID so we can get that out of the way, and then we'll let Adam start cooking.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad Live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff, and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That is right, you guys, man. Keep up the subs, keep up the subscriptions and the likes. Do it for us over here at the Nomad Network, as well as Sports Zone Chicago. My guy, Superback Greg over there. Make sure you do that for him. And also our guy Adam, man, go over there. If you haven't already, please subscribe to his channel. The guy does great work. I admire it because when I see numbers, I'm like, I'm running the other direction. But he runs to them. And so I appreciate that part, at least. I like everything he does over there, but that part in particular kind of pulls me in because that's the stuff that I refuse to even look at, man. But I do appreciate that part of your content for sure, Adam. But before we go any further, man, let's just let you get cooking and see what you do here, man. Let's show out for the viewers here.
All right, Mr. Mason, are you familiar with the Pro Football Network simulator?
Yeah, I don't use that one very often, but rock it up. Any of these, I'm going to preface this. Any of these aren't realistic. PFN, PFF, all of them, they're not realistic. But let's rock it. Let's have some fun with it, and we'll see what it does for us.
Unrealistic, and thus why they're fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So here, with the first pick, the Bears have several trade offers. There's Vegas 13-44-77 first and second next year. New England 3-34-68 first and second next year. There's the pick we're probably going to deal with 2-36-40-67 and a first next year. And Denver's offering 12-76, 1, 2, and 3 next year. Minnesota's offered 11-23-108 first and third next year. Is there any question about which one you want to take?
Well, I'm not going to take one today because I don't want it to be more. I mean, it's so controversial. Still, it is. It's 90% we're taking. But if you look at that one right there, Washington with that package too, 36, 40, 67, and a first. If we get to draft day, because they can't offer a 26 first. Well, I think actually they can.
You can.
They can now, first. Yeah. But if they offer another first on top of that, if I'm Ryan Poles, and like I talked about, they deem Caleb Williams as 1A and Jaden Daniels as 1B, and they think they're going to end up being Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, then I'm taking that in a heartbeat. Number 2, number 36, number 40, 67, and 2 future first. I'm taking it. But I don't want to. I don't want to for this. I mean, what? Actually, I kind of do just because then it would give us the extra second-round picks.
Oh, we give us 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
Do it.
Remember, we're doing a show here, Adam. Please.
Do it, Adam. Do it.
Whatever you want to do, Adam. But I will say this. We could add probably 100 to that, and they'd still take it.
I just got to preface this by saying I had to coax these guys into not taking this trade the last time. But here they are saying, take the trade. Well, it's kind of funny.
Here's the thing. So I want everyone to listen to this. I want to take the trade just so we can toy around with the second round idea of it. But I don't think this is going to happen. I just don't. I think we're taking Caleb. It's done. I think we're 90+% there. So I don't want this to be that type of thing where everyone starts rioting in the streets and saying, "Let's take Jaden Daniels."
They will.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will hear about this later on Twitter, Adam. I'll just put that out there. But by all means, let's have some fun. The disclaimer has been put out there. This is not a real mock. We're just messing around.
Well, mocks aren't real to begin with. Mocks aren't real to begin with.
Thanks for putting that out there too, right? So like fans don't go crazy on Twitter. Leave the guy.
How dare you, Adam? How dare you, Adam? No, dude,
You know they're coming.
take it easy, okay?
Hey, go for it, man. Don't let us get in your way, Adam. Go ahead.
Hey, you smack the accept on that, then we're good. Hey, so I'm gonna say, guys, Caleb is a better prospect than Jaden, 100%. There's some things about Jaden's that I like. I think he anticipates better than Caleb, but his velocity, I do not know right now if Jaden Daniels' velocity of his ball coming out of his hand is going to translate, which is a big knock you saw on Justin Fields. He's better than Fields, but Caleb, once he makes the decision and he whips it, I mean, it's go watch the tape. It's like he's flicking it. It's just neat. It comes out, and it's very Pat Mahomes-esque, and that's why people do that stuff. He's not Pat Mahomes. Not a fair comparison, but he is a better prospect than Jaden Daniels.
He is. He is probably. I've seen a lot. I've seen them all, man. But a natural. I mean, absolute natural as a thrower of a football, as I've seen, man. It's almost Aaron Rodgers. Like when I look at it more and more, it really does. It's just natural, man. He makes the easy stuff look easy, and you got to appreciate that. Given the situation we're in, man. So. I won't get in the way any further. Just let you go ahead and do what you're gonna do here.
So is this a skip?
Let's do it. Let's accept it. Let's do it. Let's cause let's cause some controversy. Let's burn the place down.
Hey, you want to add one on there? We can get another one if you like.
No, let's just say that because since they won't let you add a 26 first, let's say this is a scenario where they give us a 26 first rounder as well. They're leveraging their entire future. We're accepting that for 3 first rounders. Well, a swap of this and then 2 future first, 2 seconds this year, and a 3rd. I would take that deal.
Okay, we'll accept it. Hopefully Washington doesn't take J.J. McCarthy. All right, there's Caleb. We're getting some offers here for number 2. We got 2 offers, one from Minnesota for 11-23-108, first and 3rd next year. And, Arizona wants to give us 4 at 27 and a 35.
See, Arizona's seeing the same thing we're seeing, and once we've done this, I can't come off of 1B. There's no way I can accept less than Jaden Daniels, so I'm going to reject anything they're giving us at this point. We have to have a quarterback that we see as 1A and 1B.
Okay, I get it. I wouldn't mind seeing that cow kick. All right, here we go. We're taking Jaden Daniels at number 2.
And I just have to keep saying it because people are going to do this. I don't think we're taking Jaden Daniels, guys.
Okay, we've seen McCarthy go off the board. Let's see who's went off.
Alt, Malik
Drake
Neighbors.
May, Marvin Harrison, McCarthy, Olu, Joe Alt, and Neighbors. We're sitting at 9 now, and we do have a couple of offers here. For 9 and 75, Jacksonville wants to give us 17, 48, and 2nd next year. And here's interesting. The Colts wants to give us 15, 46, 117 just for 9.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything when I see Rome Odunze there. If Odunze is there at 9, guys, he's the best contested catch this year, and the way he can high point, we haven't had that. His separation isn't as special as Neighbors and as Brian Thomas, but the way he can just muscle the ball away, I really see things in Odunze that a lot of other people aren't. I'm taking Odunze with this. I'm not considering anything when I see him.
I'm with you, Adam.
Okay.
Very, very Alshon Jeffrey-esque.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
He would be an impact player for sure.
All right. Here we go. We pick again tomorrow. Brian Thomas went 12. Wow.
Denver.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Verse was gone also.
There's my boy Jack. I want Jackson Powers Johnson so bad. It's just not going to happen now.
Which is why I didn't understand the trades and don't understand the trade back.
All right. Tomorrow's come and gone. We're at 36. We've got an offer for 45 and 3rd next year from the Saints. And we have an offer for 60, a 2nd and 3rd next year from Buffalo.
Nothing there blows me away.
Nothing there is going to help us today. Do you need to look at individual positions or
No,
you see your guy?
I'm looking there. Guys, I love Tyler Nubin, but we're so stacked at safety. We're not taking a safety. But Tyler Nubin, to me, is one of those guys that you hear generational. Like, he's not generational, but you hear that term. He's a guy that I would fight for so hard. So if I'm seeing 36 and 40, I'm still taking him if we didn't make the offseason moves we already did. But I really like Tyler Nubin a lot.
Okay,
And he's a
so
Chicagoland's
Chicago
very
boy,
own.
man.
Yeah,
Chicagoland's very own, St. Charles North.
Yes, sir.
you are going to take him, or Darius
No.
Robinson is in your future?
Nope, not Darius
That's
Robinson either. I
Really?
like Darius Robinson, but to me, the center position is so important to fill with only a 1-year deal with Shelton, and even him not being a top-tier guy. Zach Frazier, to me, is right behind Jackson Powers Johnson. Zach Frazier's sacks, hits, and hurries allowed is one of the best in college football, and a lot of people don't realize it because Jackson Powers Johnson is so dominant. I'm good taking Zach Frazier here at 36. I really am. And a lot of people feel like we can get him a lot later, but I think other teams are going to see him the same way. And I take him above Graham Barton. I take him above everybody else but Jackson Powers Johnson. So if Zach Frazier's there to me, I'm taking him.
All right, Zach Frazier, you are now a Chicago Bear. All right, Graham Barton went, Kwame Lester, Tyler Nubin. We got a trade offer. Ooh, Tampa, they see somebody they like because they're offering us 57 and a first.
It's Michael
next year.
Penix.
Probably a lineman.
I'm not sure, but
No, it's Michael.
Kansas
Penix.
City's offered us 64.95 in the second next year, and they won 40 and 122. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I didn't expect that. If Tampa's given us a first, I mean, that's blue chip possibilities, especially when next year's class is such edge heavy. I mean, there's reasons by the decisions I make. I always try to have reasons. I always try to analyze things. And yeah, we've gotten another first already from Washington, but this year's class is the wide receiver class to me. Next year's class is the edge class.
Edge class. Sure, yep.
The year after to me is the quarterback class. 26 is truly a quarterback class. So if I'm looking at that and we have DeMarcus Walker coming on an expiring contract and depth to the point where we only have Dominique Robinson, who shouldn't even be in the league, in my opinion. Sorry, Dominique, if you watch this, but I am not hot on him at all. And we got an opportunity to take a first, and we've already acquired this from trading back once. A first is what people want to get by trading out of 2. We didn't have to do that. And now we get a first from Tampa. I'm hitting accept on that as fast as I can.
All right, we will
dropping
do
17 spots, but getting a future first in an edge class that we can steal an edge in the first with that. I'm good with that.
All right, Tampa really wanted Adisa Isaac.
And I like Adisa Isaac, actually.
Not for a first.
Not for a first. That's why I say these things aren't realistic, though. I don't see that happening. I like Patrick Paul a lot, too.
Yeah, but you know what, Adam? I will say they're as random as the real draft can be.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah.
It can definitely be as random. Okay, Buffalo has offered us A's. Kids, our guy Peyton Wilson went to Dallas. They went to
Van Der Esch. He's replacing.
Yeah,
Oh no, that's a
replacing Van Der
problem,
Esch.
bro.
Yeah.
Imagine Peyton Wilson and
Micah.
and Micah together on the same team.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, we have 60 and 248 for our 57th pick. Also, we have Minnesota's offers 108, 129, 3rd, 4th, and 5th next year for 57. Anything here interesting, Mr. Mason?
Well, it's interesting how much they're willing to give up, but you're going too far down. This class is known as being like 1 through 80, being elite talent. So I don't want to drop out from 57 to 108. So we're going to stay where we are.
All righty. Who we seeing here we love?
Ooh, a couple of them.
Cameron Kitchens.
No, I'm looking D tackle right here because
stop virtue signaling. Let him go.
Yeah, I'm
asked
looking.
the question. Are you still in the
Virtue signaling, man? Leave man alone, man.
Man, don't get muted.
Leave him alone now.
I'm looking at this and what's still on the board there with Leonard Taylor and Michael Hall and Chris Jenkins, but even right down past where you are, I like Xavier. I don't think Xavier Legette lasts that far, but I really like Xavier Legette.
I do too.
Yeah, I love Legette.
What picks do we have after we traded down? What am I sacrificing if I go another wide receiver?
We have 3 picks left: 57, 67, and 75.
Dang. Oh, and Braden Fisk is still there? I think he'd be gone by now, too.
Yeah. BC kid, Boston College kid. A Florida State kid,
Florida State. He was he transferred.
Same colors.
I love his motor. Arms are a little short, but man, that dude never stops.
Arms too short to box with God.
What do you guys think about Michael Hall?
3-4.
Michael Hall's a little small for me.
Not my favorite DT.
3-4 guy, man. In my opinion.
Yeah. All right.
Tell you what, I like
Cam Kitchens is sitting there. Oh man.
I know
Kitchens.
it's
Kitchens. He ran really slow at the combine, but I still think he's a great player. I don't. Put
Man,
He plays faster. He plays
Forget
faster.
the combine. His
Yeah,
actual
watch his
tape
tape.
is
That was-
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, he was my number one free safety.
He's
Show me-
just got instincts all day long.
show me who's left with offensive tackles.
Old tackles. Let's see here. It's Rosengarten, Armonica J.
No, we're not going there yet.
Yeah, it drops off.
We're right there around the guy you were talking about in the green room there. I wasn't paying attention to where he's listed on here.
Yeah, no, but I would see us targeting him 60s, 70s. There's some quality guys. I'm going to go defensive tackle here. It's a need. We don't have a fourth one on the team right now, so it's a need for us. Man, I'm not sold on Leonard Taylor, but
Oh, really?
I'm not sold, but I don't dislike him. I really like Mason Smith too, and he's way down there, and I don't understand it.
Looks like Greek god, plays like Greek salad.
That's actually good. I'm gonna have to borrow that one.
Just give me a nod.
Will do.
Chris has copyrighted this. I like Dwayne Carter here too, but a little bit further down, you could probably get him at 67.
Yeah.
No Jenkins, no Michigan D Jenkins, Chris
Small.
Jenkins.
He's got the lineage.
All right, I'm gonna shake things up, and I'm gonna
Shake
stir
it.
things. This is not what they should do, but there's no way Xavier Leggette's there. I'm picking
Yes,
Leggett.
yes,
All
I love
right.
it.
I
Love
like
it.
that too.
This
Love it.
wide receiver room is the most stacked
Love
room
it.
in the NFL, and then we're gonna see who's left at 67.
I'm gonna go ahead and push it at him because I
Do it.
love Xavier Leggett.
Me too. He's on a mission too.
Chris wasn't gonna give you not 1 second to think about that. Trust me.
I didn't. You see how quickly I hit that.
All our defensive tackles are going now. They're all coming off the board.
Uh-oh.
No, you got Braden Fisk.
We
And
can
you
add,
got Chris
we can
Jenkins.
add some picks. And remember, guys, we're only doing 3 rounds, so
Really quick,
Some-
let me shout out one large individual. Shout out from London, man. Thank you for coming. Hopefully, you like the content and subscribe. Shout out from, to London. One large individual. My bad. Go ahead, Adam.
I'm not taking that one.
Really?
No. I like the top 80 in this draft. There's just too much high-end talent. I don't want to be dropping down further. Same thing here. Not dropping
Okay.
out of it.
all righty.
67 is too valuable. Ben Sinnott's not going to go that high to me, but I see him coming higher than what other places project him in the 4th round. That's not happening, but I see him later. And we need a tight end 3, but we're stacked at the top of our tight ends. I'm going to go Braden Fisk here. We need
There
a
you
defensive
go.
tackle. I like Braden
There
Fisk,
you
and there's
go.
no way he lasts this long. So if he's here at 67, we absolutely just steal him.
All right, Mr. Fisk is now Chicago Bear. And Jenkins went
See, you got your DT either way there, Adam. Worked out.
All right, and our final pick. You even considering that?
No,
I didn't think so.
too valuable here at 75. All right, I'm going to go with Kieran Agwijabi. I know on this mock simulator they're not thinking as high of him, but I really think this is where we're targeting anyways at 75. Offensive tackle, yeah.
Thank you, one large man. Appreciate you.
That's final.
That's final. Yep. I think
your
I
final
see him
answer?
being right there competing with Braxton for the job. And either way, we've got a deep swing tackle with whoever wins that job. So
All right. You got
Well, at least I finally know how to pronounce his name.
I don't know if I'm right on that, guys.
Oh,
pronounce
okay. Well,
do we have anything? We don't have anything else, right?
No,
no, that's it. We're only doing
So
3.
we're letting it finish out, and we'll get to that.
I'll post that just a second, gentlemen.
So I like it. I like it. You know, it's going to be a lot of people arguing with you, man. I wouldn't post that on social media if I were you.
Well, if you do, you got to have a huge disclaimer that I said we're taking Caleb Williams. So it's,
You have to put a disclaimer anyway. This is not real. This
Exactly.
is make believe.
Yeah, this didn't really happen.
You're a jerk. You're an idiot. You're a clown. This is not real.
Hey man, I actually like what you did, but the truth is, man, they're dead set on taking this kid at number one.
Yep.
And in fact, no matter how nice the trade offer is, that may be on the table as we speak, I think in the end they have to draft him and demand that if you really want him that bad, you're going to have to offer more than that. We may consider doing a pick swap, but I doubt it, man. I don't know what you think about that, Adam, but I don't think they have any choice at this point but to draft Caleb Williams.
No, Caleb Williams is going to be a Bear. I mean, that's why I've said 90%, 99%. It's happening. People just need to start wrapping their head around it. And a lot of people have given me crap over that because I was so Justin Fields pro, but doesn't mean I was wrong with my analysis of Justin Fields. Nope. As the team shifts and we go a different direction, I'm not stuck on Justin Fields. I'm adapting with it. Caleb Williams has to sell himself to me, but so would any rookie that we take. Any rookie is going to have to sell themselves to me and prove themselves to me. But any way you slice it, we have the most premium draft capital to take two blue chip guys here in the top of the draft. And it's just, we're in such a good position that it's a bad time for people to be so negative about what's going down. There's so much positive to be excited about with this team.
I will say this, Adam, in this particular instance, the biggest takeaway from this is the extra first-round pick we picked up.
Yep.
Yeah, and this isn't showing in our scenario. We're saying Washington has to give us a 26 first-round pick too, but the simulator won't show that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys got to read this one. Mike Davidson. Y'all got to do the Law and Order. The following is based off fictional events.
That was good.
Good one, Mike. Nicely played. Nicely played.
All right,
Ding,
man.
ding, ding.
Listen, man, I enjoyed having Adam on the show, man. It was a blast, man.
Yes.
Dude, I just want you to know, anytime, anywhere, you got a revolving door for you over here at the Nomad Network, man. You're welcome to come back anytime you want. I really do appreciate you for being here, man. You want to give any shout outs and any pleasantries on the way out of the door, man, it'd be great.
Very cool. Thanks, you guys. Seriously, such a fun time just chopping it up, talking about Bears football. The biggest thing I want to say is, Bears fans, we are in such a good position. The draft is going to be fun. No matter who we take.
1 second. I think you got a question before somebody got you.
Go ahead.
Lord Crimson. You want to go ahead and take that?
What?
I'll read it out. Adam, what do you think about a lack of NFL QB experience on the staff and the roster to develop a rookie QB?
I was kind of shocked that we took Mark Rippon. I was kind of surprised by that, if this is the direction we're going, but I do understand as well, this is just rumor stuff. This is stuff you look up. Mark Rippon is very respected in the quarterback room. I don't expect him to be someone that competes at all for a job. He'll probably be a practice squad guy. But from my understanding, in the quarterback room, doing film and discussing football, he's very intelligent. I'm not worried about having Tyson Bagent as QB2 with lack of experience, because Shane Waldron is very respected, and this is an opportunity for them to put their staple on a rookie. So it would be ideal to have someone come in with an Aaron Rodgers to teach them and to train them. But the reality is, when you're taking a first overall pick, that's not the situation that happens. You don't have like a Pat Mahomes coming in behind Alex Smith to learn, like a Jordan Love coming in behind Aaron Rodgers to learn. You don't have that when you're taking first overall. So does it concern me? Not really, because that's what happens when you have the first overall pick for a quarterback. This is just what happens. So no, I'm not worried about it. I just really have to trust that we hired the right people and that Shane Waldron can really do his best to pull this out.
All right, before we let you finish doing your pleasantries, man, I think I had a question for me, kid, somewhere in there. Someone asked me something. I think it was FFG. It might have been. No, that wasn't it. No, I think it was FFG. I think someone asked me.
Here we go. Nomad, do you really think this draft, with be worth less than just having Caleb from a team perspective. Oh, I see what he's saying. So he's looking at your draft actually, and just sort of saying, he's comparing the Hall to Caleb. And what do you think?
Yeah, I you know what? Be quite honest with you, I won't back away from this, man. I think they could have really laden this roster. They could still really laden this roster deep with some talent if they traded down. I think Jaden Daniels is. I mean, I'm not going to say he's Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams he throws the ball better than Jaden Daniels. Quicker release, but I think you can do well with Jaden Daniels equally. And I think, in my opinion, I think it's worth entertaining the idea of really laying your roster out for the next 5 to 10 years and kind of trading down. But that's my opinion. I don't think the draft is worthless now. I think it's just you could be getting a whole lot more out of the situation if you really wanted to, if you didn't zero in on one guy. But I understand why they're doing it, though. And so if that answers your question. But we got to get ready to get out of here.
Go ahead, Keith.
Well, no, really quick. I just was going to say this. The unfortunate part to all of this is how everything got built up to this point. Had they not used certain words like generational and everything, I don't think it would be such a big deal if they were to trade back. But such the emphasis on Caleb and being quote unquote generational and compared to Mahomes in terms of certain aspects to his game is what's made this a difficult task to be able to say, you know what, we feel strongly in our evaluations based off of our scouting reports that we can trade back and still get a very, very good quarterback that makes us competitive for years to come. But because of everything, that's what I think is pretty much got them in a situation where they can't.
Well, I partly agree with that, and I don't have much of that I could disagree with. But Adam, if you want to finish giving your pleasantry before we get out of here, man, that'd be great.
Yeah, just thank you guys. Those who haven't checked out my channel, check it out. Bear Down Sports. You can just type my name, Adam Mason, you'll find it. Bears fans, be excited. This is such an exciting time to be a Bears fan. I don't think we'll ever have 2 top 10 picks again. So no matter what happens, even if we stand pat with these 4 picks, this roster is built right now to compete. And it's going to be fun to see this season, this offseason unfold into the preseason and into the season. Don't be afraid to be hyped. So many people are having some negatives right now because the way things happen. But whenever you take a star that's improving and that the team loves and he gets extracted from the team, that happens. So just bear down. That's the name of my channel for a reason. Look forward with a purposeful direction. Bear down. Because there's so much to be excited about this team. I'm super stoked. And if Ryan Poles, if Ian Cunningham and company think Kerry Joseph and Shane Waldron can work with one of these quarterbacks to make them the next great, then I'm all on board with giving them a shot to do that and taking this team and being excited behind them because there's so much potential here. So I enjoyed having you guys have me on. Really appreciated it and look forward to future interactions whenever they may come.
Ditto, brother. Ditto. Go ahead,
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Adam, thanks a million for joining us. It was fun chopping it up, fun, running through a mock with you and getting an idea as to sort of where your head's been at over this offseason. And to be quite frank, your head's been in a very similar place as to mine, almost across the board from what I've seen on your channel and where I am now. Although I will say you're a little bit more. You're definitely a little bit more pro Justin than I've ever been. Love the guy. I just kind of stop and look at the Hall and dream of the super team. And that's, we saw a little bit of that today. Long story short, I think we're a little bit beyond that. I think, yeah, no doubt there, Keith. I just think Ryan Poles has sort of seen the writing on the wall. He believes in the team he's built and is building. And it's now zeroed in on whoever that QB is going to be moving forward, right? And it looks a heck of a lot like Caleb Williams in that respect. Man, that passing motion you mentioned, I've talked about it before. It's just literally a flick of the wrist, and that ball jumps. And that's something we haven't seen in Chicago, perhaps ever.
No, Cutler had
right?
Like, no, crazy.
I was gonna say maybe Jay Cutler, maybe Jay.
He flicked that thing like nobody.
Well,
He had a lot of
yes,
them tools.
Hold
yes,
on.
he
He
did.
just didn't have
We're
this kind of
gonna
team.
get to you, Keith, man. Let Sean give his pleasantries.
Yeah, I'm just saying, he had a lot of that. But in any event, thanks for joining us, Adam. Awesome having a show with you today, and looking forward to future shows in the same vein. No Maniacs, thanks for representing with us. Big numbers in the chat today, just about 200. Loving it. Like, share, subscribe, and keep supporting the channel as per normal. Super back, throwing it down to you, my friend.
Thanks, Adam. We appreciate the time spending with us today, buddy. Man, it's going to be exciting. I agree with you. We have to move on, unfortunately, but that's life. All right, that's life in any aspect. And you know what? We wish Justin well, and we're moving forward with us. And you know what? If it's Caleb, if it's Jaden, if it's Drake May, if it's JJ McCarthy, Michael, whoever it is, all right, we support them 100%. They're going to be playing for our Chicago Bears. And I'm really, really looking forward to the talent, especially if he trades back with either the 1 pick or the 9 pick or both or whatever to get more picks. We're going to get some quality players this year and in the future, and it's going to be really, really fun. You said it right, Adam. And it's a really good time to be a Bears fan. So let Poles cook, let him do what he does, and if you didn't like the thing, don't worry, trust him. We love people and we trust people. Sometimes they don't always agree with them, but we trust them. All right, and I think we need to trust him. And there's really nothing he hasn't done to this point that has caused me to not trust him. Okay, just because he made a decision I didn't like doesn't mean I don't trust him. So trust him and see what he does, and we could be hoisting a Lombardi Trophy in 3 to 5 years.
Man,
Keith,
No Maniacs, Sports Zoners, thanks for joining us. Adam, thanks again for being on the show today. Do appreciate it. Love chopping it up with you. And other than that, everybody, just have a great afternoon.
Hey, thanks everybody for showing up, man. Adam, one more time, man. I definitely appreciate you coming on, jumping in here with us, man. Again, that door is open for you at all times, man. Love to have you back, man, and do this again anytime. And to all the guys that joined the chat, man, all the ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do so much. And make sure you do for both Sports Zone Chicago and over there, Adam Mason's channel, which is, again, Adam?
Bear Down Sports.
Bear Down Sports. So once again, appreciate you guys. Love you all, man. But before I got to get out of here, I always got to leave you guys with these famous words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Bear down.
Peace.
Yeah.
Bear Down.
Boom.